Hello, thank you for joining me for my very belated Sunday Facebook Live. My computer didn't want to um, cooperate with me on Sunday, and it took a whole lot of time and effort and technical support from my husband before we got it right. So I did want to show you the card that I wanted to do with you, and I know that you can't see anything, but let's try. Oops, and it's not going to stand properly when I tip it, so if you can get the angle, it's a double easel fold card which stands up like that. I will show you more about the card when I start making it, but I just wanted to tell you a bit about it. This is the card that I made in the Gears and Textures stamp camp, and that's a stamp camp that I do with Julia Quinn and Jan Clothier. Now that stamp camp was a couple of weeks ago, and although it's done, we are still offering the stamp camp, kind of, so you won't be able to get the kit or anything that goes with it, but you can buy the tutorial, and that has all the measurements. We each did 3 cards, so I'll just quickly pull in, that's one of my other ones, and if I can find where my third one was. So those are my 3 cards that are in the stamp camp. All the measurements, metric and imperial, are in that tutorial. And let's just quickly show you the products that we used here. So star of the show, Gears and Textures bundle, the stamps and the dies. And we also used the Stylish Shapes dies. And because this bundle doesn't have sentiments, we used the Simply Said sentiments with it, because that's a really good sentiment set, has lots of stuff in it. And diverting slightly, we used the Nature's Walk DSP. So that's, all of this nice sort of splotchy textured DSP, and that's the reverse side. Alright, let's just have a look at this card quickly, as it stands like that kind of when it's on display. It opens up, so you've got a little writing panel. You've got to be careful that you don't have too much to say, because there's not a heap of space there, but it will, goodness, I feel like I'm all fingers and thumbs today, fold flat to go into an envelope, so easy postage. Now the measurements are all in the tutorial, so I'm not going to go through the measurements, but we are going to go through the assembly of the card. So starting with your card base, you're cutting the front of it down the middle, and then we're going to score from the top of that cut to the bottom corner. Hopefully I'm going to line that up beautifully. And no, that wasn't so beautifully lined up. Let's just see if I can get it. Just going to have to watch when I fold that. That looks better. We do actually want that angle right, because otherwise it's not going to fold nicely. That looks better. Alright, so then that's going to fold down like that, and this one, if I get the right score line, is going to fold like that. Alright, so that's sort of the most complicated part of our card, and I am changing the DSP for this one, so instead of going with all those browns, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and we're using some of the greens. Alright, so these 2 pieces are going to be the ones that are going on there. So we need to cut those and just watch these because they need to be cut in opposite directions. So the one is going from your top right to the bottom left corner. And the other one is going top left to bottom right. This one doesn't really matter because it's not directional, so you can just turn it if you've made a mistake. But that one where you had writing, it was important to actually get them cutting that the writing was going to sit up. Now, I'm not going to do any stamping on these just because there's enough texture going on there. So let's quickly stick them onto my card front because then I know where they are and I can't lose them. I can, however, drop them onto my lap and get glue on my pants, but that's okay. I usually like to get as much sticking as I can done beforehand so that you don't have to watch me do all this sticking, but sometimes it's just unavoidable, so apologies for that, but some things I can't stick in advance. Good, now we can do some stamping. So first up, I'm going to add some stamping. This does have texture on it, but hey, it can have a little bit more. If you look at that one, you can see I did some stamping on there. So, stepping out into the greens, Julia would be so impressed because she's normally the green person and I don't do much in the way of green, but hey, here we go. And there's no sort of way for me to tell you I'm doing this or I'm not doing that because I'm really just stamping. Doesn't look like that's adding too much to it, but that's all right. Let's stamp some splotches. Decisions. I'm actually going to pull in the garden green here. Let's see how it looks because as if this paper wasn't textured enough, I decided that we need even more texture. And I think that this is my favorite stamp in the stamp set is this splotch. So let's have lots of splotches because I love them. Right, and now, before I put the stamps away, I have another little bit which we're going to use to stamp. Not that. Oh goodness, it looks like I messed up and didn't cut that. Okay, that's all right. We may not have the front of the card put on, but we're going to stamp this. Just double checking, I should have cut that with my second smallest stylish shapes die, but anyway, I didn't, so I could, but I hate going to die cut while I'm on camera, so it's stamped. Alright, we're doing well. And then finished with the greens, but just before I put it all away, I have, okay, this is not driving me nuts because I did actually check everything and it was here a minute ago. Yes, here it is. See, I did have my insert and my DSP should have been cut to that same size, but anyway, I just want to stamp some of the chain along the bottom of my writing panel. And not quite finished. Last thing, I have my sentiment, which I stamped in advance so that I didn't have to stress about getting it completely crooked, which we know I was going to do. And I just want a little bit of texture on that one too. Okay, now I'm definitely finished with my stamping. And one last thing, I just need to pull my trimmer in, and I've forgotten the size, so we're just going to cut 2.5 centimeters off the bottom of my stamp bit over here. Now we're ready to get on with the assembly. So first up, I'm going to stick a bit of DSP. Top half of that, or top half, it's not a half, it's about a 3/4 of that DSP is going on the inside over here. It's amazing how just a little bit of stamping adds something to it. And I must admit, I'm pretty bad. I don't always remember that I can stamp on DSP. No, it is allowed and it actually is really effective, but I don't often remember to do it. And that's going to stick onto the strip. I'm just going to try and get it somewhat centered. We've got even borders. And this is going to stick on with dimensionals. Now, you need these dimensionals because this is what's going to hold those cards up when it's all stuck, or when we're trying to pop them up. Okay, so it needs that extra lift. And then I'm just putting it ever so slightly up from the bottom of the card. Right. Now, I could decorate that quickly. So I have my chain, and yes, it is not long enough to fit all the way across. But I can find where my scissors is hiding. I'm going to cut it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh goodness. Okay, so I've got to cut through a chain to get it in half, and no, it doesn't have to be exactly in half. I'm just being a bit pedantic. Alright, so we're sticking half of it. I'm just looking at this and going, I don't think that I did half. I think that I had 2 chains. Amazing how you have everything organized, and then when you start doing things, you're going, oops, I don't think that was the way it was supposed to be. It's just that we did I did the actual cards so long ago that I obviously... Oh, but look at that! It's gonna work. Amazing. I thought that I thought I'd had 2 chains, but it looks like it's planned. Maybe I did have 1. I can't remember. And oops. There we go. Worked perfectly. Some days things just work out, and that's brilliant. Okay, now for my little card, I had a piece of cardstock which I folded in half, and then taking my die, I've placed it so that that cutting edge is just above my fold. Okay, so I don't want it to cut through the fold. We just want it to cut that the fold is not going to be cut, but you can see I've got like an ever so slight of the stitching, but we're not going to worry about that. And then for my support piece over here, your cardstock is long enough that we've scored an extra bit, so the same thing, fold that bit down, and then you're going to place your die so that it's not going to cut the fold, that I've got that extra little flap. And that is the largest die from the Stylish Shapes dies. And just so that's going down, and then we're going to fold this bit over, so it's going in the opposite direction to the flap, and then I'm going to stick that bit onto the back of my card. Now it is the exact same size, so we're going to have it the same. And what I'm going to do, which not ideal because it's not going to have the stitching, but I just want to check the size of that. That's 6 centimeters. Okay, I'm just going to cut this down to 6 centimeters so that I can use it and we can carry on. Would have been better if it was die cut because it had the stitching, but when you make a mess, you make a plan. At least we can make things work. Okay. Right, so just going to stick that onto the front of my card. And okay, this is not a good day because I didn't check that and I've just stuck this in the wrong place. So, no, this is one of those things. Do what I tell you to do. Don't do what I do because I've messed it up. So that should be stuck along the bottom because we want it to flap up. Hopefully it's going to cover some of the mess there. Right. Now I'm doubting myself. Okay. Right. And stick. Let me just try and get that in line. When things go wrong, they go wrong badly. I was going to say, lucky the front DSP didn't matter because that's not directional, but the support definitely does. Now what we're going to do is put some glue along this little folded bit, and we're sticking it so that the top of the little card is along the score line of, I don't think I put it along the score line, it's just along the DSP. Okay, so top of the DSP, trying to get it roughly centered. Let's just let that glue, while that glue's going to decorate it. So I have layered the dies, they're only layered onto one die, and this time I decided to switch them around, so where I had 2 copper bits there and 1 gold, I've gone 2 gold and 1 copper, just because I can. I always like switching up colours. I'm going to put one of those. I found that this paper, just because it's a bit thicker, it just needs a tiny little bit more time for the glue to set. Now, okay, I have a million cogs cut here, and I don't know where my other one is. So, oh, there it is. It was sitting on top of the glue. I think it suddenly got concerned that I was going to just abandon it and use another one, so I decided it better jump back into the picture. And I've got two of the little ones cut in copper. Problem when you have too many of them die cut, you just keep going and going and going, except that every time I cut, I didn't want to waste the metallic paper, so I cut an extra little one. So I have silver and gold and copper and heaps of them, and they're all here just in case I didn't have enough. So we've got everything, which is a good thing. I'd rather have too much stuff than not have what I need. And now, I did have my embellishments. Alright, it looks like today is one of those days when everything is hiding from me, just for a change. Okay, trying to have, there we go, found them. So we can just stick some of these embellishments on. Now I have to say, when I first saw these embellishments, I thought, oh, they're a bit chunky. But now that I've used them, yes, they are chunky, but I actually like them. Okay, so now that card should pop up and stand against there, and then those two will stand there. It will stand, it just needs a little bit of help. I may have stuck it slightly low, it maybe needs to be just, there we go. Right, and of course you can't see anything, so there. Okay, so different color, and that's my double easel card in the stamp can. So I hope you've enjoyed this card, and I will see you again next time. Until then, bye for now.